Travel 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh and you'll discover a unique outdoor garden. Unique because this garden is unlike any other in western Pennsylvania. The Pittsburgh Botanic Garden sits on nearly 460 acres of land adjoining Settlers Cabin Park. Once completed, it will be one of the largest botanic gardens in America. But turning these woodlands into a world-class attraction hasn't been easy. Greg Nace oversees the site and knows the history behind the garden.
A group of people got together at Max's Allegheny Tavern in 1988 and said, you know, we should have an outdoor botanic garden for Pittsburgh. So they held a few meetings and decided that there was enough interest, and then leased the land from the county in 1998 on a 99-year lease.
Work on the garden began soon afterwards and was progressing smoothly when a major problem suddenly surfaced.
The master plan was done in 2002, and then in 2004 with Hurricane Ivan, the acid mine drainage really became a huge problem. And they said, we can't really build a botanic garden with all this acid mine drainage, and what are we going to do?
The site, like many other places in the state, sat atop abandoned coal mines, which was causing mine subsidence and acid mine drainage.
Well, there's 4 streams on the property, and 3 of those streams had water that was at a pH of 2.9. You know, 7 is neutral pretty much, and the best for plants. This water was like vinegar in these streams. So the people realized we couldn't grow anything, you know, with that water.
That's when the decision was made to reclaim the land.
And how's that done? How do they do that reclamation?
Well, there's different ways. One way is to daylight the mines, which we're doing on the center of the property. Another way is to treat the water with limestone to bring the pH up and neutralize the water. So we're doing both on the property here.
Well, let's first talk about daylighting. What does that mean?
There's 3 ridge tops on the property, and each ridge was undermined back in the 1920s with these labyrinth of coal mines. So these mines fill up with water. As the water percolates through the top layers of soil, it gets down into these tunnels, and it leaches first the sulfur out of the coal to form sulfuric acid. And then it leaches the minerals and the chemicals out of the coal. That water has to then go somewhere, so it runs out into the 3 streams on the property.
So behind you is one of the problems we're dealing with on the site.
Right, yes, yes. Between these 2 ridge tops, we have a stream that comes down, and the water that flows out of the abandoned mines is clear to start with, but as it comes down and mixes with other water that's cleaner, it raises the pH, and then the iron precipitates out, and that's what causes this orange color to the water.
But eventually, over the years, you're going to be able to remediate that.
Yeah, so the idea is by taking out the tunnels that are full of the acid mine drainage, we're getting rid of this acid mine drainage problem that's persisted for so long.
And then you'll have water you can use for the plants and for everything else.
Yes.
A 400,000-gallon underground cistern has also been installed nearby. It stores clean water for the plants.
We don't have to rely on the municipal water supply, you know, and water from North Fayette Township.
Which would be expensive, right?
It would be very expensive.
In another area of the garden, the results of reclamation are apparent. A pond, which once was toxic, is now teeming with life.
But nothing had lived in that water for how long?
About 85 years. So for that long, that pond has been dead because of the water flowing into it was that acid mine drainage. With this limestone treatment bed that was built, the water is coming out neutralized and with the minerals out of it. So almost overnight again, we had frogs and things in there and insects, you know, finding that water.
That's amazing.
Reclamation is just one of the many projects going on at the Botanic Garden. Phase 1 of planting is also well underway.
Phase one is this woodland garden area, and this is one of the places where the water was bad. So we have one good stream on the property, and we have a solar irrigation system that we're using to water the native plants that we're planting to increase the diversity of plant life in this woodland garden here.
Murraysville Garden Club.
Exactly.
So, nice to have you here. Thanks for coming.
The new plants are attracting visitors.
We are focused on this 60 acres here, which is the woodlands of the world.
Already there's been a lot of plants put in place here in the garden.
Oh, tremendous number, about 2,000 different native plants that we've been putting in here. This was clear cut. It was deforested, and the number of species that have come back are about a quarter of what possibly can grow in this area. So we're increasing the diversity of the plant life.
This is Oriental bittersweet.
Invasive plants are also being removed.
That's our biggest
Kitty Vagley may be the director of development for the garden, but she's also learning an awful lot about plants.
So Oriental bittersweet is one of the worst invasives we have here in the woodlands, and it will climb up the tree and strangle it. If it fails to strangle it, then it will make it top heavy and bring the tree down. The entire woods looked like this until we started clearing it.
And as the work continues, the entire site is taking on a new look. The old barn will soon be transformed into a welcome center for visitors. And a new trail will also be built that'll be accessible to strollers and wheelchairs. Just some of the changes generating excitement about the Pittsburgh Botanic Garden.
We're really wanting to have people visit and see what we're doing as it's being built. They'll see that Pittsburgh has something they can be proud of. You know, when they come out and see this, they can say, this is a huge garden, area-wise, one of the largest in the country. This is an example of what Pittsburgh can do to turn around a problem and make it an asset for the community.